Hello and welcome, you beautiful, beautiful being. The other day, I had a strike of inspiration. I was like, hey, I should make a funny meme Christmas card and send it to everyone I know, just for funsies. It's not going to be a super fancy illustration, it's just going to be a funny doodle, like wacky comic strip style type Christmas card. It still took way longer than I think it should have taken, but I got it done before the holidays, so I guess that's all that matters. Maybe this will inspire you to also draw your own holiday cards. I won't be printing mine, but you could totally do that if you wanted to. I feel like when my family sees this, they're going to be confused by my humor, but who knows? Maybe it'll be a Christmas miracle and my joke will actually land with all of them. I realized Christmas was coming close and I hadn't made any festive drawings all December, which would be a Christmas crime. I actually did make a fancy illustration this month, but I didn't go in with a plan and I ended up drawing a girl at the beach during the summer because logic, I guess. I guess I temporarily forgot that it was Christmas time. Christmas is my favorite holiday, which makes me somewhat basic. But I just love the aesthetic and the coziness and the presents. The only thing I don't like too much is the hit my bank account takes. Because I like getting people gifts. And let's just say I don't exactly have it made. But I know a lot of people can probably relate to the fear of looking at their bank accounts after the holidays. At least I hope it's not just me, but I'm pretty sure it's not. And if it's relatable, I'm sure those that can relate will get a kick out of this goofy Christmas card. Anyhow, I don't remember that many Christmases, to be honest. But I wanted to see if I could come up with any Christmas-related memories I could tell you about. My earliest memories of Christmas were of me asking Santa for a dog every year. When I was 4, I asked him for a puppy, and he gave me a stuffed animal of a puppy. When I was 5, I asked him for a puppy that wasn't a stuffed animal, and he gave me a robot dog. Then, when I was 6, I asked him for a real dog that wasn't a robot, and then he gave me a Barbie plush dog that had the ability to walk when pulled. Looking back, Santa gave me some pretty cool dogs, and it was right to not give me a real dog because I learned the hard way when I got a little older that I wasn't responsible enough for pets. I also remember I once took a picture with a mall Santa, and I decided to take the picture standing next to him instead of sitting on his lap because even as a very young child, I knew that sitting on a strange man's lap is way too close for comfort. But I still wanted to participate in the Christmas tradition of taking a picture with Santa. I feel like mall Santas are one of those things that's like normalized because everyone does it. But if you really stop and really think about it, it's quite bizarre. You tell your kids to stay away from strangers, but then ask them to go sit on some strange disguised man's lap for a picture. And you pay money for this. I mean, it's the lap sitting that's weird to me. Who came up with that? Santa lap sitting? Really? I just want to talk because it gave me the creeps a little as a kid. I mean, I was young and it still creeped me out. And it still does to this day. Oh, and in case you were wondering why I traced Anya Forger, I didn't fully trace her. I was just using her as a base because I wanted a similar style, but I made a lot of changes so it ends up barely looking much like Anya at all. By the way, if you have kids in the room listening, please don't let them listen to this next part because I don't want to ruin Christmas for them or anything. You've been warned. Another thing that kind of grinds my gears about Christmas is the fact you're supposed to lie to your child about the existence of Santa. Honestly, I only decided to tell my kids Santa was real because I enjoyed believing in Santa as a child. But If it weren't for that, I'd probably tell her the truth because nobody likes to lie. That was a lie. Actually, a lot of people enjoy lying. They're called compulsive liars, but that's beside the point. What I was saying was, I don't like lying to my kid. It feels like a breach of trust, you know? And then how is she gonna feel when she finds out that it was all just a sham and her mom's some kind of fibber? What a shameful day that'll be. On top of that, I can't even take credit for one of the few gifts that I get her. I gotta say, no, Mama didn't buy you that. It was some magical old man that broke in while you were sleeping. Don't thank me, thank him. Also, I don't really know where she got this idea that she's supposed to put her Christmas wish list under the tree. Back in my day, I was so official about it. I would write my letter, seal it in an envelope, address it, stamp it, and force my mother to take me to the mailbox in the cold. Also, something else I want to talk about. If you have been Christmas shopping for a child, I'm sure you have noticed that prices of toys have gone up exponentially. Like, I was looking at the prices and I just kept going, the audacity. Okay, I just pulled up the Target app. Now, I searched toys. I went to look at all toys, and the first one that comes up is a Lego set. It's like a Disney Lego set. Guess how much it costs? $80. And apparently, that's on sale. Like, what? Who is out here buying $80 Lego sets? Am I just cheap or something? Am I just poor? Or are people actually paying these prices? Are these for adults? Like, are these for, like, adult hobbyist collectors? Because that's what I'm thinking. Because $80 for a Lego set, I could never. Oh, and the magnet tiles? What's with the magnet tiles? I remember we had some similar, like, magnet toys when I was a kid. They weren't this dang expensive. Apparently they're on sale for, like, $50. They're originally, like, $70. For some magnets? For some colorful magnets? Really? I'm insulted. I'm a little insulted. I don't know if anybody else is. Is it just me? It might just be me. I don't know. Oh, and the advent calendars. Don't even get me started on the advent calendars. Like, every year I think, oh, maybe I should get my daughter an advent calendar. And then all the decent advent calendars are ridiculously expensive. Like, they're usually around, like, what, $80? Minimum $35. And a lot of them, like, they don't have very good toys in them. Like, some of the toys are, like, real toys, like little figures or whatever. But then they put, like, filler items in there. Like, they put little cardboard figures, or they put, like, one little shoe for one of the toys. Yeah, they put a lot of filler in these really expensive advent calendars just because it's called an advent calendar. One of my own traditions I had made up for myself for Christmas was watching the SpongeBob Christmas episode over and over and over. Back then, believe it or not, for any of you whippersnappers who may or may not be watching, we didn't have Netflix. The closest thing we had to Netflix was something called On Demand, and only people who were paying for Comcast cable had that. It was something that allowed you to watch random shows and movies whenever you wanted. But there were no pictures in the menu to go with the titles, and there was very little description, so it wasn't that easy to navigate. I mean, I'm not here to give you a history lesson or anything. I know some people consider 28 years old to be like a Dinosaurus Rex or something, but those people are wrong. I'm still young. I know when I tell kids about how we had to run to and from the bathroom during commercial breaks if we didn't want to miss part of the show, It sounds like war stories to them. But being young isn't all that it's cracked up to be. What's so great about being young anyways? Just because your skin's a little more taut? I have something more valuable than that, and that's knowledge, which is something people generally acquire more of as they age. Okay, but circling back to what I was saying before, I would watch the SpongeBob Christmas episode on demand so much that I memorized the song from that episode by heart, and I still sing it every Christmas after all these years. Oh, and I put a mug in my hands, but I don't actually drink coffee. I don't even drink out of mugs. I just thought it would look cozy, I guess, if I was holding a mug. And it would help preface the fact that it's morning and I'm tired of all the Christmas responsibilities. 'Cause for adults, Christmas is less about magic and more about all the tasks you have to do to make the holidays happen. Do you want to hear a kind of really messed up Christmas story? It's about my Sims 4 gameplay. If you didn't know, I really like to play The Sims. Sometimes it ruins my life because it really sucks me in and I don't do other things that need to get done. I have a gaming channel if you'd like to see some of my past gameplays. I'll probably have it in my description for your convenience. Whenever it's a special occasion, I like to make a gameplay that's kind of themed around it, like my birthday, Halloween, or Christmas. I honestly kind of ruined my plan for my Christmas Sims gameplay because I guess I just like the drama and the scandal. I'll tell you the story of my Christmas Sims that I made this month. Their names were great. I named the guy first name Chris, last name Moss. And the girl's first name was Holly and her last name was Day. So it was Chris Moss and Holly Day. They were made for each other. Too bad they were made with my destructive hands because I started off wanting them to live a happily ever after with a cute little family, but things didn't go as planned. They fell in love, moved in together in a cute little Christmas cottage. They had 2 kids, a cute dog. They were happy. Then, Chris found himself bored with how perfect and stable everything was. He wanted something fun and exciting, and unfortunately, he found that in his wife's gorgeous, fun, free-spirited, and fit red-headed friend. Holly Day had gained some weight and wasn't all smiles all the time, which is understandable because she just had 2 kids and has to deal with all the responsibility that comes with that. Their house was chaotic, to say the least. Holly's friend Ariel always stopped by to check in on her. And yes, she was that Ariel, but as an adult. And Chris couldn't help but be captivated by her beauty and her free-flowing fun nature. One day, when they were alone in the living room, he flirted with her, just for the thrill. He didn't mean for it to go any further than that, but his wife overheard the whole thing and was furious. She never fully trusted him again after that. One night, Chris found himself feeling unusually trapped and overwhelmed by his needy children and resentful wife, that he decided to have a boys' night with his male friends. Out in the wilderness, they sat by the bonfire. And the more he drank, the more he couldn't push back the thoughts he was having anymore. The thoughts of Ariel's face and how happy he felt around her. She was his escape, and now that his wife knew of his attraction towards Ariel, he knew Ariel would likely never be allowed around anymore. So he called her and asked if she'd like to hang out. Ariel, being as carefree as she is, agreed, and when she showed up that night, and he saw how her eyes seemed to sparkle even brighter in the dim of the night, He knew he couldn't give her up. So, he maintained a friendship with her. Every time he went to hang out with his guy friends, he also was secretly inviting Ariel along. Eventually, Ariel's feelings for Chris grew, as she had never been pursued so intensely by a man, and their affair began. Meanwhile, his wife Holly was trying to take care of the kids, the dog, and lose the weight to gain back some self-confidence. Holly also had the aspiration of having a big happy family, and let's just say her family wasn't quite big enough for her. She wanted at least 3 kids. Chris wasn't on board with this. They could barely keep the house or their marriage together as it was. Why would they have another child? Because it's my aspiration, Holly said, wearing her Santa hat and Christmas sweater. I'll have my baby no matter what. Chris believed she was speaking out of anger. Until one day, he came home to find a newborn in Holly's arms. She had a science baby without his permission. He wanted less responsibility, not more. But more than anything, he wanted to be with the one who made him happy, which was Ariel. So, he packed up his things and left. He left not only his wife and the science newborn, but also his biological children and dog. Chris knew he was being a selfish man. But he had cracked, he hated his life. And this was his only way out. He met Ariel on the beach in Sulani. "What's wrong?" she asked. "I did a terrible thing," Chris said in shame. "But I did that terrible thing to be with you. It's you, Ariel. It's always been you. I love you. I'm ashamed, but it was never going to work with Holly. I don't choose her. I choose you." Ariel was stunned, but being the wild child she was, couldn't deny that Chris leaving his family made her feel a thrill that she would say felt a lot like love to her. "I'm so happy now. We can hang out here like every day. No more secrets, no more stress." And so, both in their wrongness, they started a life together in Ariel's abandoned shipwreck house in Sulani. Chris felt like he had just landed in paradise. He was living a carefree life on the beach with his dream girl. He was more smitten than ever with Ariel. He was, as they say, down bad. One day, as he and Ariel stood in front of a waterfall, soaked from head to toe, he blurted out, "Ariel, will you marry me?" She said yes, and soon after their beach wedding, 2 twins were born, a boy and a girl. Chris seems to be handling fatherhood better this time around. He finally found a life that makes him happy. Little does he know, Ariel, being a mother, doesn't stop her from continuing her carefree, thrill-seeking lifestyle. She still sees some of her old flames around town Sulani and flirts quite liberally and cheats on Chris with them. What will Chris do if he finds out? Only time will tell. Thanks for listening to my Christmas ramblings. I hope you enjoyed. Here is the finished Christmas card. I will be sending it to my family members on Christmas Day, whether they like it or not. Thanks for watching and have a great Christmas. Bye.